Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is a bonus draft while I'm having a snack, but we've got some newer players and newer drafters in chat, and they've asked me to go super in-depth on a draft. So I'm going to try to do that while eating my cheddar bunnies. The only thing that we've covered so far is that there's basically two scenarios you'll find yourself drafting in. One where you need to win the draft. Maybe it's the one draft you do a week, or it's your F&M draft and that's important to you, or it's the top 8 of a PTQ. And another is cheddar bunnies. Come on, Botspot, please. That was a pretty good hit. And the other one is where you're just trying to maximize your wins over time. So if you need to win the draft, you're going to pick higher variance cards and hope that you get lucky. In many cases, you're going to go for a busted deck and try to make it work. Whereas if you're looking to maximize your wins over time, you're probably going to try to draft a more consistent deck. Now, there's not really limited tournaments anymore, other than the one I got to host a few weeks ago, which was awesome. Thank you to Jana for putting that one on. That was really fun to get back in the booth and do commentary again. But I'm going to try to walk you through both while drafting open, because that's typically what I do, while eating cheddar bunnies. Nom, nom, nom. Not cheddar bunnies. I would not endorse eating those. Seems bad, man. I don't know that I'll have time to analyze literally every card in the pack, but I also don't think that I'll need to. I'm going to try to narrow it down to what we'll call the home run pick and the safe pick, and then probably take the safe pick. Analyze the art too. Maybe one day we'll do an art draft. Oomph. All right, here we go. This is a fairly good example of this. So this pack really quickly gets broken down to Zagras and Low Mage's Domination. There's nothing competing with them on power level. Some other notable cards in the pack are the Tangled Florahedron, and that's kind of about it. We've got a Wind Robber, we've got a Baloth. Like, you can play these. Smellcraft is okay. Fisher Wizard's not bad. The Electromancer's okay, but there's not many decks that want it. So Zagras is very bomby, and we're going to take it. I think either drafting strategy is going to take it here. This is just a very powerful card. You can really only splash it if you're green. So we're going to take this, but I'm not going to lean too heavily into it. I also don't think it would be crazy to take the Domination and let somebody else fight over Black-Red Party. Because I don't particularly want to play Black-Red Party, but we're going to try to stay open here. Unfortunately, this draft is kind of positioning it. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Because I think you could make an argument for taking the Relic Vial here. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the Thundering Rebuke. Because I think this is a solid removal spell. It kills nearly everything in the format that needs to die. If you think about it, this card is one of the reasons why I dislike Synchronized Spellcraft so much. It's 3 mana cheaper and it kills the same things. Sure, it's not instant. Sure, it doesn't do a couple points of damage to your opponent, but who cares? You need to get something out of the way. This will actually do it in a timely fashion and usually let you have some leftover mana to do something else with. But I think I could make an argument that if you were going to be the most open, you could consider taking the Relic Vial here, because then if Clerics works out, cool, you've got a great card for it. If Zagras works out, you've got a great card for it. To replace this with, like, I don't know, a really good green uncommon, I think I'd take the Relic Vial. This pack leaves a lot to be desired. There's nothing particularly good here. Strongest individual card is probably the Field Research. Cinderclasm's a unique effect. The champion's always welcome in any red decks. I've been very happy with the aesthetics in green. The last pack we saw will come back at pick 10, yeah. So the question we need to ask ourselves are these cards strong enough that we're kind of going to hug red and see where we go, or do we want to open up and take the field research? And I don't think the difference between these cards is that high. I think I'm going to go with the Cinderclasm in this instance because it's a unique effect. Like you're not going to get something like that very often, but it won't take much to get me off of red. God, this is really asking us to commit quickly. And I'm not going to do it. I think if you need to win the draft, this is the biggest difference I think we're going to see between open drafting and drafting to try to like go. If you need to win this draft, I think you take the Blood Priest. You commit to Black-Red Party and you just make it work. My pick is Roiling Regrowth. Because if we're red-green, Reclaim, it's a Roiling Regrowth. If we're red-green landfall, which is looking like maybe we could be, we can splash the Zagras with this, as well as trigger landfall. So if we take this, and we see something like, I don't know, a Geopede into another Baloth, we've got something going. If we don't, we can relatively happily let it go. This pack's not got a whole lot here for us. Scorch Rider's fine. It's an upgrade to the Vampire, obviously. There's some reasonable white cards. I'm just going to take the Spell Land. Because I think we're probably playing red, and I don't see any reason to get off of it here. All right, here we go. And look at what colors we're starting to see. There's like playables and everything, but there's actively good cards here in green. Predominantly in the Visionary. I don't hate this card either. It's decent for party, but so is the Wizard. And I've already mentioned I really don't like Synchronized Spellcraft. Like, if this is late in pack 3 and I've only got one removal spell, you bet your bottom I'm taking the Synchronized Spellcraft. We don't know that green's open yet, but we're starting to get some signals that maybe it is. So green-red could be the direction we go in, and because we picked up this regrowth, we've got the possibility to splash this. Now, here's a bit of a signal for us. This is pick 7, and nobody's wanted this Deadly Alliance. So forget about green. We could be green-black and splash Zagras. We could be red-black and just ignore the green cards. Like, this is a signal, and the Fisher Wizard's pretty good too. And I've also played the Rage. Yeah, with the Feed the Swarm, I think I'm just off it. This is incredibly late. One thing to think about as we're going through here, this is an important pick. What reason do we have to play red? We first picked and second picked red cards. What have we gotten past in red? Not bloody much. Not much at all. So I think that means we need to think about Golgari potentially splashing the red, which is going to make us want this Florahedron quite a bit. All right, so we're probably looking at something close to this potentially. This would be good for party, but I think I'm going to still take the Beetle. If Golgari's actually open, this will be quite good. If it isn't, we can let it go. If we're playing the Zagras, I don't see any reason not to play this. This is fine. Not super impressive. It could still be green-white. It's not absurd. And it could still be red-green, black-green. We don't exactly know. But I feel like one thing we caught from that is that blue wasn't particularly open there. They don't necessarily have to, they can. Not much to talk about here. Crawling Barrens is very good and it goes in every deck, so we're going to take it. The Golgari deck often relies on counters, but I've built Golgari decks that didn't really care about them. Like, this is super easy, Crawling Barrens. I was trying to think about if this wasn't here, are we more interested in the Vastwood Surge, the Thirst, or the Balagad Recovery? That's an interesting question. I'm not sure that I know the answer. That probably rules out splashing a Rebuke. We're likely to see good blue cards this way around. Don't panic. It's okay. We've got us an Oran Reef Ooze here, which is kind of a powerhouse on its own, and it gets better with other counter cards, which we've already got one of and may bump into more. So this is a pretty easy ooze for us. And again, regardless of your drafting style, you should probably be in green now. I told you we're going to see good blue cards. It's okay, don't panic. We're going to pass these blue cards right over to these players who are drafting blue, and then in the last pack, they'll pass us the good green cards. Because we're not super interested in much of this. I could take another Roiling Regrowth, but I'm not entirely convinced I need it right now. I think I'm probably most interested in the Blood Priest. I would like a landfall card, but these usually go a little bit later, and I need to get my 2-drop settled. It'll help us with the Deadly Alliance. It'll help us with the Zagras. Black's open in both directions. That's great news. Usually I like Demon's Disciple a lot, but I think I'd rather just have the Blood Chief's Thirst here. We're continuing to see the blue, and it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. There's another Feed the S-Worm. There's another Baloth. But I think I'm becoming very interested in this Adventurer and not very interested here. Because we're kind of turning sort of into a green-black party deck. So I think this is what I want here. I would play a Subtle Strike as well. And I'd play the Baloth. Alright, here's a solid 2-drop that does have some counter shenanigans that could go with the Ooze. Could be an argument for bringing the Beetle back in at some point. But we don't need it right this second. Rebirth is not crazy either. I don't really want any of this, but this has a tag. We can play a tagged unit potentially. All right, I can usually get behind a Gloom Hunter too. You can play it early, you can play it late. It's another potential counter interaction. There's our Aesthetic. Okay, this is beginning to develop. Little card draw if we need it. Is this helping? Where's my dude or dudette that was asking about like how to stay open? I'm almost out of bunnies. Oh, nom nom. I think it's finally time for the Baloth. If we're going to run this regrowth, we may as well have something to do with it. That's it. God Gary. That was my dude. No, I don't play Magic Online anymore. I uninstalled it last October, I think, and I haven't reinstalled it. Like I said, we're going to see good blue cards, and I'm going to keep right on passing them because I don't want my neighbors to be like, well, we have a couple green cards. Maybe we switch. This is where we should get hooked up again on the green stuff, green and black stuff. I've come down a lot on Vanquish the Week. It's probably still the pick, but there's an argument to just take the second feed and not care. The instant speed's nice. It kills some things that matter, but you're often trading down on mana unless you can catch something like a Horn Beetle or something relevant there. I'm probably happy enough to play it, I guess. Not thrilled about it. Got us a Broken Wings and another Adventurer. I can take this Adventurer, but it means I probably can't really lean on these Baloths too much. I wouldn't lean too much on the idea of having the right creature or spell count. Generally speaking, 15 creatures is what I'm aiming for, but you can win with more and less. I've played decks with 20 creatures in one, played decks with 3 creatures in one. I'm not sure what got picked over that. I was thinking one of our neighbors was blue. It's got me a little worried because we've kind of got a mix of party creatures and non-party creatures. I think we need the Gnarlrid colony here, but I don't think they're in blue. No, it's all right. We got a rabid bite, but our curve is too high currently. It's way too dependent on being able to cheat out these adventurers. I think that means I want to cut the Stomper. What I want to do is cut the Stomper, play the Cleric, and the Horn Beetle. I don't know if I can get away with it. I don't want the Squad Commander. We're not white. Why would we want the Squad Commander? Like, I think this is giving me enough counter shenanigans that we can potentially get there, and this will help. God, we may not even need to splash anymore. Stomper is good with double face card. This one? Nah, this is going to get played out as a 2/2. There we go. I got everything I wanted. Frankly, I got more than I wanted. Like, I can't play this other adventurer. Can I realistically try to fit that in? I'd have to cut a Baloth for it. I might could. Because I think we could reliably get it out at 5 mana. This tag isn't particularly useful. I don't think I want a second Gloom Hunter. I might want to spare supplies, though. We're getting down to some preference picks, which is fine. Well, it depends on how likely you are to curve into them, right? Because we've got an interesting mix of counter shenanigans plus party shenanigans. I haven't drafted a Golgari deck in a while. It's like, this deck needs a couple cuts. Like, what is this deck trying to do? I don't think I need 3 of these. I think that's a bit unreasonable. I'm also curious about how important gumming up the ground with these tokens is, because I don't really have a repeatable way to do it, right? Like, I could get a few value tokens, but it's not like the deck has 3 Scythe Cats. It's like I'm going to get a token or 2 every now and then. So I think this may be the route I want to go. Because if I can get these out reasonably at 5, which I think I can, we can get a little bit of token value off of the Shadow Cat and the Ooze. So I think this is a pack where I'm just not, or a deck where I'm just not super interested in trying to make that Ooze work. Kind of have to play 2 mountains, which is going to make some of our openers particularly rough. The good news is our color requirements aren't particularly heavy. Like, I don't really need double green very often, other than potentially here and that's late, and here and that's late. Because if I'm using this early, it doesn't need double black. Like, this is the cost of splashing the Zagras. No, don't do that. I hate it when it does that. I think that means we lean on the green mana. Because if you look at it like this, we've got 8 plus 6, 7. Right? Because if I'm always getting red with the Roiling Regrowth, which I think I would be, then I can also always pick up a black. So as long as I have green, there's reasonable expectation to find these. And most of the 2-drops that I actually want to play out on 2 are green. It's very difficult unless you're green. And there's an argument that this deck might be better without the Zagras, but like part of my role as a streamer is to entertain you. And if I don't play the bombs, people will be unhappy. I don't think the upside's there. Like, that's just like one removal spell away, or like they pacify it. Like you're playing 3/2 do-nothings in your deck. I'm including the Sky Dancer for that purpose. But that's it. I think I want one Baloth. I don't think I want to play a generic 3/2. And if it's a warrior, it doesn't matter that much, right? Because I've already got 2 1-drop warriors. I don't think that's a tag we're looking for that hard. Like, it's not crazy to think we'll have one of these 2s into one of these 2s or 3s, and this can come down afterwards. I think we can do it. I just don't want to be, like, scared to trade these cards off. All right, let's do our Stream Raiders battle. We've got to conquer Retrolandia. I think so. I think every draft can be interesting if you really think about the picks and look at what's coming around. I guess why draft is my favorite way to play. And like, I got frustrated with the bot drafts on Arena back in the day when they didn't have real draft available, and it led to me playing other games. The auto battlers like Teamfight Tactics, Dota Underlords, the original Auto Chess, all of that began to scratch that itch. But the fact that like it just wasn't as deep because what you picked didn't matter as much. You ended up kind of forcing things, and I didn't like it. And that's what the bot drafts ended up like. So like, it was fun until you got to high levels and then realized you should just force the best deck every time, and it was less interesting. But like, drafting with people means that like at the seat you're sitting in, there's a deck that is the best thing you could draft in that seat, and your goal is to try to draft that. Dave with the kills, Thangarth with the assists. Rewards for Leonam, Thangarth, Mooch, and Yak. That's always kind of what I'm asking myself is, did I draft the best deck that I could have at that seat? And I think we got close. I don't know that it... Like, there were some weird spots where blue looked more open. I hear you exploding. It's not the same thing. Maybe it is. If you're drafting twice a week with bots, you won't notice it. Try drafting it for 40 hours a week for 8 months. Not exactly the opener we were looking for, but it'll work. Here's the thing. They tweaked the bots, and I don't want to get into a super big bot discussion because it's kind of done now. We can actually draft with people, which is nice. However, let's say that... No, they haven't. They were doing that then too. I don't know if you played then. I did. And they said that they were tweaking the bots then too. And from what I could tell, they weren't. But it comes down to a simple point. Like, let's take me and Ethan. For the sake of this argument, let's say that Ethan is a better drafter than me and a better game player, which means if we sit down at most draft tables, he's probably going to beat me. Right? If we just sit down at a random table and he's better, he's probably just going to get me. Seems reasonable so far. However, if I sit down at a table with 7 clones of Ethan, and I know how he values the cards, he's never going to beat me. Because I'll know what deck he ignores in every draft, and be able to draft a good version of that deck. And that was always the problem with bots. It might take you a minute or two to recognize exactly what deck they undervalued, but once you knew what it was, you could get a good version of the best deck every time. That's why we ended up with Demirrors in whatever Gatecrash set that was, with some Ravnica set, but like if you weren't drafting Dimir, you were just doing it wrong. Or you get something like Eldraine, where it's Force the Mill deck. Like, that was a lot of fun, right? There are ways that you can play against the people that you drafted, but that doesn't matter as much as you think that it does. Why would you like to play against the people that drafted with you? Because I may be able to help you there too. We're not killing this now because I'd rather them use some sort of weird combat trick and get a 2-for-1 out of it. We're pretty low on cards here. If they try some mess like this, we can just nom 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 nom. I've heard people say it was fun versus people, but I wouldn't know. Not necessarily, Gary. I was hoping you weren't going to say hate drafting, because that's something a lot of new players get stuck on too. We don't really know what our opponent is up to here. And sorry, YouTube, but this is a little different than the drafts I normally record with YouTube, because we're kind of just having some Magic Theory discussions, but hopefully you guys find this good too. Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe and ring a bell or something. Little Strike makes the X ones a little bit worse. Not that I'm playing a ton of them. The only thing I really have is the Blood Priest. And the Sky Dancer. What if we just didn't have any? We're just like, screw it, don't need it. I think I could get behind that. Because I'm guessing they're probably playing 2 Subtle Strikes. I don't see them as often as I used to, so I think people are valuing them higher. Like, I usually want 1 in most of my black decks. I'll play 2, but I've seen people play like 3 or 4. Fish or wizard? What if it was a fish wizard? I think we can afford to walk into a Subtle Strike here because this is just decent value. Killing. That could have gone a lot worse. They weren't just single color screwed last game, they were double color screwed. Holy carp. I know something that's gonna die right now. Is it though? What happens if I attack with a 3/3 here? Maybe they've got another, I guess given that this is instant, I may as well just swing and see if they want to trade or try to get me or something. If they've got another wizard trap, I can respond. If they don't, I'll just play the Baloth and kill it next turn. It shouldn't get out of range of Vanquish the Weak here. If they're going to do something like that, maybe I just kill it now. Move along with my life. That's okay with me. We're still going to have some issues with the 5/3, but we need to make sure that it not being able to block is relevant. The Baloth can probably do that. We had to do it there just in case they milled the right combination of lands to make it super big. Go, go, Power Rangers! We're racing now, but we're attacking for 6 every turn while they're attacking for 5. We're gonna need a chump blocker one day. But this little fella here is ready, willing, and able to get it done. That's the thing you could do. Alright, if it's a Roost to chump blocking, I think we're okay with it. Can't kill the Bloody Shade now. Nice butts opponent indeed. Hi-yah! We got to swing this race in our favor, and I think I can do that with this G. Hastly Gloom Hunter. Because they're going to need multiple Drakes a turn, which is possible. We turn this from a 3-turn clock to something like a 6-turn clock if we can connect with the Gloom Hunter a couple times. If we can't, all of a sudden there's some problems. I needed to connect with it at least once. We're going to need this spare supplies to do some heavy lifting for us. Alright, spare supplies, show me what you got. Ain't exactly the droid I'm looking for. There's no way to get around the bounce spell they have here. And it may be enough to finish me. It does, but the problem is the token they have left over and the fact that we're not getting in for 6 damage. Like, they very clearly have Into the Royal there. So we can kill this, take 1, not be able to... Like, I functionally can't block this. Well, I can, but then we don't have anything left to win with. So that, like, we're torn between is the best line to kill this or that. And if I fire this off first, they just bounce it in response, so we end up with the same thing. Like, it would be if we... And we didn't know that they had the End of the Royal, but, like, they have the End of the Royal. I think I'll still make the line that I can, which is this, but we're probably done here. Because I think I have to block that shade, and if they're able to just rebuy it, it's probably game over. Because I really don't want to do that. That's the... Like, our ability to race has ended. We're stuck looking for answers for the shade, and, like, there aren't any. Yeah, Gloomhunter would be our out, but we've already drawn it. We don't have any recursion. Spring Mantle can at least block it. Probably should have done this first, but... Problem is we're still taking 5 potentially here. That's going to make this lethal, so we need to top deck an answer to this and have basically these cards not do anything. One of them's a clone, so if we kill that one, it's not coming back, and we can answer that already. We just need to deal with the token. Now, I mentioned that we may want to kill the token with the Feed the Swarm, but if we had... then bringing this back brings a bird with it every time. That's convenient, because now we don't have to worry about that either, but there's 2 flyers. I don't think I have anything that can deal with both of them. I don't think I have anything that can deal with one of them. Land ain't it. Shade's really good. And you don't need to do much work for it to sing in your deck. Now, the one advantage we have is they're playing 3 colors. Apparently, just like straight up 3 colors. So our better mana over the course of time will help. I have, again, going on the draw, become more interested in the Blight Priest. Cinderclasm would be really good against them if I thought there was any realistic expectation of casting it, but I don't. Ugh. Okay, we can talk. Don't worry, we'll shuffle him back in. We can potentially get a hell of a hit in off of this Baloth. Sure. The more you have, the better it gets. You can play it by itself if you want to. I've certainly played worse cards than a 4-mana 2/2 in many formats, but I do think you need some other kickers to support it. 5's enough. 4 is probably enough. 8's great. More than that, you're just living in magical Christmas land. Have a good time. I'm going to try to get my value off of the Baloth. Yeah, I think I am. Don't counter it. What's up, Loki? Happy New Year to you, too. And if they got a wizard shenanigan here, we're just game over, man. I gotta hope they don't. I don't think it's an end of the royal. I think it's a chilling trap. You reckon they got another one? That's pretty nuts. It would appear not. It did, but they'd have shrunk this small enough that it isn't killing the sorcerer, right? Well, also given that they had the duelist, I guess I could have gotten it out of their hand that turn, but... I think I did. I didn't bother doing the math. It was 6 and they shrunk it by 4, so yeah, it wasn't going to kill the sorcerer. I wanted the sorcerer dead. Because, like, having the few X ones I have be vulnerable is already bad. Having it stretch out and just auto-kill all of my X2s, that's terrifying. I guess we're pod racing now. They can kill me with a wizard or a spell. Do I have to hold her back? Because I might. Is this lethal? 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's not lethal. I think I have to hold her back. I don't want to. Glad I did. I don't know. I thought it was a gal. It looks like it may not be. I suppose they is always proper. Don't call anybody it. Nobody prefers to be called it. That's dehumanizing. I did watch it. It was kind of bad. I didn't care for it. Get it? See what I did there? I didn't care for it. So attack here, they chump block, but kill me on the way back. This isn't going to work. I need them to block, and there's no reason for them to do so. They can take this and go to 1. They don't have to block. My only out is that they think I drew something that changes the game or are bad at math. Which looks like it's working, so huzzah. Yeah, technically I could. Like, we know there's an end to the royal in this deck. I'm already incredibly fragile to it. I guess I was dead to it last turn, so there's no point in trying to worry about playing around it. I feel like Zagreus would give me indigestion. Yeah, we've been dead to Into the Royal for a million turns, so I guess we don't have to worry about it. If you're dead to something, you don't have to play around it, because they don't have it. Or you'd be dead. That's how you know they don't have it. I got a swing team here, right? Hope they don't have another Bane Veil. Because they kill me next turn if I don't kill them here, so... Not much to it. Got there. It was a little bit like camping. Didn't have me sweating. You can't get that invested in a single game. It'll give you a heart attack, man. I'd rather win than not, but like in the long term, winning that game isn't going to make much difference to me. So like I'll play the best I can to try to win, but if they have the card that I can't beat, I'm not going to be upset about it. I guess I'm blessed and cursed. Because people often remark that it doesn't bother me when I lose, and they're amazed that I don't get tilted, but I also just don't get that excited when I win. The only thing that tilts me a little bit is when I have to mulligan, because it sucks. It is the worst thing you can do in Limited, and it makes me unhappy. Don't like it. One thing I can help you out with if you're new to Limited is you should almost never mulligan. There's some that are bad enough that you kind of have to, but like... They're trying to out-Golgari me, yo. Yeah, one-landers I can't do much with. There's some I'll keep on the draw. In some formats. You want a 2-for-1 yourself, go ahead. We basically terminated this for free. Ready to 4-drop for a 5-drop. I like our position. Double Menace is scary. No, no. No. No, 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 no. Nope, 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 nope. That is not how that works. If newer players have watched... So most of the time newer players coming into Magic, they're not picking up... The first game of Magic they're playing isn't Draft. The first game they're playing is against Sparky. And then they play with their starter decks a few times. And then they're like, oh, maybe I'll try Draft. It might be good. Maybe it's fun. Which is a fine thing to think. But Constructed teaches you that you do need to mulligan a pretty reasonable amount of time. Which is going to leave you looking at a hand and being like, well, this hand doesn't do anything until turn 3, so I can't keep it. But that's fine in Limited, generally speaking. Now, game 2, you know, your opponent's playing a super aggro deck, something, something, maybe that's not the case. Where did that come from? I thought we were going to win pretty easily, and then it got tougher. Who'd have thought 6 mana, put 10 power and 8 toughness on the board, gain 6 life would have been good. It's not a bad tribe to be in. Live in Northern Virginia now. Grew up in North Carolina, Wilmington to be specific. Was a beach bum. I don't know that I was exactly a beach bum. At least a bum. That's close to dead, but not dead. Yeah, that's fair, Sven. If you came in just drafting from the beginning, your experience may vary. Out there. Took longer than I thought it would. I do believe they want to outvalue me. This is a spot where a Dreadworm looks like a better than average card. I don't think Baloth's cutting it anymore, which kind of sucks because I still have to play the Roiling Regrowth if we want to splash Home Slice, and I think Home Slice is worth playing. So, yeah, what I'm telling you about Don't Mulligan does not apply in Standard. I don't play nearly enough Standard to have any opinion on it. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Standard. If you ever hear me give you advice for Standard, unless it's prefaced with, I've been playing Standard for the past 3 months, don't listen to what I'm saying. May have noticed I missed a land drop in the middle of that game, and it was because I wanted to play around a Mind Rot. This should hold the cat back. If it doesn't, it means they killed it. I might have attacked with the cat if I had that. Would have set me back a good bit. Drew, thank you very much. I think I need to respect the Horn Beetle. They want to trade this off, we can make something happen. It's fine too. We must spam some cats for Drew. Thank you for the resub, man. I remember you from way back in the day. You've been here a while, bud. Yeah, I'm planning on streaming tomorrow. It may not be a full day's stream, but I'll stream tomorrow. Welp. We have a problem. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you a hint. It's not enough land. I can barely keep attacking with this. They've been so passive, I think I can get away with it one more turn. Because I think I'm just getting to eat free bugs. But like, if they actually blocked it with this, I don't know how we get out of that. That's a lot of menace. A lot of buggy boys too. It's something Golgari can look like. Yeah, but it's a little too late for that to do anything. I think we're probably just done for here. I've done it a few times. It's worth playing in a lot of green-white or green-black decks. I don't know about y'all, but I think this one may be slipping beyond our grasp. We appear to be a little bit dead. They got some good ones. I'm gonna learn them something. And then die. There you go. We took the beetle out. Which is about all we could do there. I think I gotta be playing this Baloth. I don't think the Dread... Well, the Dreadworm's interesting, but if they ever get the bugs going, it's not gonna solve my problems. There is a 5-mana Wrath that kills little stuff in the format. Like, there's cards that exist that could get us out of that. I just don't have any of them. One a few times I'm gonna just run Home Slice out as a land. They're dipping pretty low on that mulligan right there. If we can just get 1-for-1s with our cards, we're probably fine. Only real pressure I've got is this Ooze. But if it isn't answered next turn, the number of things they could have to kill it start getting slimmer and slimmer. They kind of need to vanquish this turn. Because this thing will get out of hand pretty quick. There we go. All right, I need a quick potty break. I'll be right back. Appreciate that, my friend. We should spam some cats for Worm. I got more bunnies too. Thank you, Worm. How you been? Let's do our Stream Raiders battle, and then we can do the last round of this. I think that was like middle of January or something. And yeah, there'll be a best of 3. Oh. Glad to see you back again, man. I remember you being here like in the before times, many moons ago. Dude, that's awesome. Go, Flag Bearer, go! He's going to stop and buff somebody, and that'll be the end of him. The little Flag Bearer that almost could. You'll be playing Magic before you know it, bud. Old Man MTG with the kills, Dixieland with the assists, rewards for Citrimba and Cacman. And me. My love for you is like a truck. Alright, so these things have not been particularly hard. Let's just smash them. We got 1 round left on this draft redo. Oomph. I don't remember the exact date though, Possums, but I do know it was best of 3. That's great, Worm. As long as it is, I'll play the heck out of it. Unless it's terrible. I can't imagine it'll be terrible. Oh, nom, nom, nom. Those are cool sleeves. I don't think I want to kill my own dude, so we'll just pass there. I mean, it is a legal play you could make, but... why would you? Here's skill, ladies and gentlemen. I've got no idea what they're playing, so I can't really sideboard. These cheddar bunnies are so good. Annie, if you're listening, A, I'd like to know if you're okay. And B, I would love a sponsorship with these cheddar bunnies. Just send a dump truck of them here. We're good to go. I'm glad nobody got that. Happy New Year. Itos. It's a good song. I mean, not really. You could have heard the Michael Jackson version or the Alien Ant Farm version, both of which were pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. This hand's awful. Let's keep it. I think they did a really good job, but like, it's hard to argue with Michael Jackson. The guy was just a musical genius. Okay. It's really good. It's really good. Oop. Happy 2021, nobody. I hope the new year is a good one for everybody. Do I want to kill that? I don't really want to, but I think I should. Because I got a lot of big, fat plays. And I'm going to need to stick one of them for Rabid Bite to do anything. And if they just hook up the Axe there, I'm going to take, I don't know, what, like 8 to 12 damage off of the dang thing? I guess I couldn't take 8 damage off of it, but you know what I mean. See, there's a good thing that I'd like to be dead. It's alive, and I'd like it not to be. We'll get it next turn. Because I can cast this one on the cheap. Le Scavenge Blade. I don't think we're getting aggro, dude. I think they're getting beefed out. Beef. It's what's for dinner. Well, there you go. This was a little different than the normal drafts I record for YouTube, but I guess it's a good version of what you could expect from the stream, because like we tend to get into conversations here and babble some about Magic theory. So thank you for watching on YouTube. Come check out the stream sometime. You can do so at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. Chat. Say goodbye to the YouTubes.